What's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Let's get right into today's topic. So I got this clip from Matt Walsh, of course. He always has these great debates with these men dressed as women, convincing the world that they're women. It's hilarious. So this was a Young American Foundation conference or speech that he was at, and this person walked up and asked a question, and Matt Walsh just wanted him to explain what he thinks a woman is and why he thinks he's a woman himself. So let's get right into it.
Hi, Matt. I'm transgender. I'm born and raised here in New Mexico. I have a graduate degree in information technology, marketing, business, and finance. I own my own home. I pay taxes. I have a six-figure job. I'm a respected professional in Albuquerque. I'm a mother.
Wait, he said he's a mother. But besides all that, I was going to stop it there anyway, because one thing that most people won't realize after this guy said all of these things he said, I make six figures, I have my own home, I have a good job, basically has a good life. Does that sound like a life of somebody that is oppressed? Somebody that is a victim? That sounds like the exact opposite. If you're oppressed, if you're a victim, you're marginalized, you're, being, somebody's coming after you, you wouldn't have all these accolades that you just listed. That's very contradicting. And the fact that you said you're a mother is just, that's not even a conversation to be had. Let's keep going.
My life experience is that
My life experience is that I'm not oppressed. That's what you should have just said.
I'm an awesome person. I am well-liked. I'm responsible. And I think I'm pretty cool.
My life experience is what he first started off saying before he made these list of things, and goes to say things that people experience about himself. So you can't experience yourself being cool and well-liked. You can't tell yourself that. That's a bit narcissistic. That's not a life experience. You being cool is not a life experience.
You touched on something. You said something earlier that for you, when somebody calls you a man, it doesn't faze you because, you just know that you're a man. That was interesting to me because I feel the same way about my identity as a woman. My question leading up to this, you've asserted that no one would ever see me as a woman, that nobody would ever see or could see a transgender person as a woman, and yet I have dozens of friends from diverse backgrounds, women from the reservation, a woman from Japan, several immigrant women. I have my coworkers, I have my boss, my VP, my CEO, all respecting me as a woman, my family, my long-term friends who are actually here with me. All of these people assure me, I'm a woman. They'll tell me, girl, there is no way you are a man. They see me as a woman.
Why?
So the question,
Okay.
how can you assert that nobody would ever see me as a woman when my material experience tells me you're wrong?
Okay. It's interesting that that's the part of my talk you chose to ask a question about, because that's not in my talk at all. I don't believe I said that no one would ever see you as a woman. I mean, it's possible, I suppose, that you could fool someone. Now, you brought this up, so I have to tell you that you brought this up. You've put your identity on the table for conversation. And so I'm going to say you wouldn't fool me at all. I mean, I see a man 100%.
Facts. There is no sane person that would look at this guy and say you're a woman. You can put anything on, makeup, wig, heels, outfit, and you would still look like a man dressed as a woman. It's really not that difficult. But anybody telling you otherwise is just pandering to your feelings. And especially if you're saying these people at your job and your friends are always going, most of them are going to kind of pander to your delusion. and especially your job nowadays, the way the world is, of course they're going to pander to you. You're going to sue them for discrimination. So of course they're going to tell you you're a woman. Duh.
I think that most people would. Now, the fact that you have people in your life who are saying to you, oh, you're totally a woman, it's exactly what I'm talking about. No one in my life has ever once said to me, you're totally a man, Matt. You know, if a friend of mine called me on the phone and said, listen, Matt, I want you to know you're really a man.
Dude.
I would think that there was something wrong with him. I would say, why are you saying that at all? It doesn't make any sense. So the fact that this is a conversation to begin with tells me, it only proves the point that I'm trying to make, that your identity, even in your own mind, is up for, it's something that you need to be assured of. Now, what I would like to ask you, again, because you're standing here, and so you've brought your identity on the table for discussion. So how do you know that you're a woman?
It was first when I heard transgender persons describe their experience in their own words, and this was only about 2 years ago. Hearing somebody describe things, it was a woman from like England, describing her experience, her childhood, her teenage years, and it blew my mind to be listening to her, because it was just some podcast that I was listening to while I was like doing laundry. But it blew my mind to hear somebody so eloquently and precisely describe things that I had experiences that I had experienced.
What did they say?
Okay, so I am honestly hesitant. I know that you touched earlier about the difficulty that transgender women might have in describing their identity, but I want to state, I honestly don't feel that you would engage in this conversation in good faith.
Oh, wait a minute. Come on, bro. No way. How come it was in good faith up until now? Up until you can't answer the question, it was in good faith. This is the dismissiveness that we be talking about from these people in engaging in any intellectual conversation. When they're confronted with a difficult question, they find a way to run. They have no way of answering these questions, so they resort to saying you're not engaging in good faith, you're being transphobic, you're being hateful, because they can't go any further than where the conversation has gotten, and it ends right there. That's how you know if you're ever having a debate with the people on the left and these transgender folks, is if they start insulting you. If you ask a question and that question results into them throwing an insult at you, that's how you know you've won the debate.
Why are you here? Why did you stand up to talk to me if you don't want to have a conversation? You're saying that you discovered...
That was his programming. Like the way he responded to that question from Matt, because he couldn't answer it, was his programming just spewing out what, the response to that difficult question is. Oh, you're being, hateful, or you're not here in good faith. That's what it was. He couldn't help himself.
Discover that you're a woman. I'm asking you how you did. That's a very fair question.
Okay.
How do you know that you're a woman?
That's fine. All right. So first of all, listening to transgender people, and it was like, okay, this is a one-off, one person describing these things. Things like looking at yourself in the mirror and not recognizing yourself. Hearing compliments like, you are such an example, like a positive masculine role model. And just hearing that and being like, it feels like they're talking about somebody else. It means feeling alone, even when you're surrounded by guys, even when you have a lot of friends. And I was active in like Boy Scouts. I'm an Eagle Scout. I had great masculine role models my whole life. And yet I never felt like I belonged. I felt welcome and included.
Why does that make you a woman?
Because
as opposed to just a man who doesn't get along with some other men, or a man who's depressed, or a man who doesn't feel at home totally in his body, which, by the way, is a pretty universal human experience. Everybody goes through it at one time or another. So in what way does that make you a woman, though? And it's interesting. You're telling me that you listen to the experiences of other transgender people.
Well, yeah.
But what about women?
So
because trans women are women, you would say, right?
I would say that. Yeah.
Exactly the same?
Yes.
Okay, well then why do
Well-
you need to hear the testimony of trans, quote unquote, trans women? Like how you pick any actual woman in this room? In what way do you know that you belong in the same category as them?
I know because they tell me. So here was the
You need them to tell you what you are?
women. Yes, I trust the opinions of the women around
And
me.
if most
it's
women-
incredible. You might try it sometime.
If most women voted and said they don't see you as a woman, would you say I'm not a woman anymore?
If who?
If most women voted and said they don't see you as a woman anymore, would you then relent and say I'm not a woman?
I would say
That's your
most
logic.
people on the planet have no idea who I am. I'm going to trust the opinions of the people who've spent their lives with me.
But you are relying on other people to tell you who you are, is what we're establishing.
The 4 people.
For context, I know you like to think. I know you like to say. Everybody's rah-rahing and supporting transgender people, and yet they're still killing themselves, etc. But I'm standing here in a room full of people applauding you and asking questions like, how can I put out legislation here in New Mexico, my home state I grew up in, to try to reverse transgenderism? I'm not safe. And it
How are you
wasn't,
not safe? You just said you're standing in a room with people who disagree with you and you're perfectly fine. So how are you not safe?
Ooh, yeah, make that make sense.
Okay, look, we're going round and round.
Yeah.
You don't want to answer
Yeah.
any of the questions. Maybe we'll end with this because we're talking about womanhood. So people can probably shout out the question I'm going to ask you right now.
Okay.
But you know that you're a woman.
Yes.
What is that?
So gender is a social thing. It only
I don't
makes
want to hear
sense.
that. What
in
is
so-
a woman? What
No.
is a woman?
What is a woman?
The word woman, define in the dictionary. Go.
A woman is somebody who is included and respected and seen and participates in society, recognized by other women. If you speak with women,
Circular definition.
that's mine. Whatever.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right, that's the end of the clip. But of course, I grabbed some comments. But the first comment that I got was actually from Matt Walsh himself. And he said, I've had a few conservatives already message me to tell me that I ruined this exchange by being cruel and telling the trans person that he looks like a man. But there's no cruelty in it. He does look like a man. He's lying to himself. And he's the one who put his identity on the table for discussion. I'm not going to lie to these people. I will tell them the frank truth and I will tell it to their face. There's no other way. Next comment. Why? Okay, I grabbed this comment because I think this person is trans themselves. So she or he said, why can't trans women just accept that we are trans women, biological men? I promise, once you accept that, you learn to love yourself more than you ever know possible. These people choose to live in a fantasy world. I mean, that's straight from the horse's mouth itself. Next person says, this individual discovered they were transgender a couple of years ago. I wonder how many people discovered they were transgender whilst in the middle of a lengthy, anxious, depressive episode triggered by being locked in their homes and afraid of oxygen. I mean, you're locked up in your home for 24/7 during the pandemic, and that's when TikTok was prominent and they started just programming people. Next comment says, how come so many trans people claim to have discovered their new identity since 2020? And if you've noticed, trans people, of course, have existed before 2020, way long before 2020. But the difference, it seems like, from back then and now, after 2020, is the trans individual claiming that they're that gender itself. So a trans woman saying they're actual women. Trans people in the past have known that they're not real women. But for some odd reason, this new age trans folks, they actually believe 100% that they are the gender that they identify as, which is utter and delusional, completely. Next comment says, when asked how he knows he's wearing clothes, the emperor replied, because I asked the person around me who never disagree with me, and they said that I am the most wonderfully dressed person in the kingdom. I think that's the last comment. That's it. That's it. Let me know what you think. Oh, wait, no, never mind. There's one more. This is actually from the Young American Foundation organization themselves. And it's a meme, and it says, Walsh, define what is a woman, woke people, and you got that meme right there. It's just a perfect description. They They can't help themselves. But anyway, so let me know what you think. Let's talk about it in the comment section. Make sure you guys hit that like button down below. And if this is your first time on the channel, consider hitting the subscribe button with the notification bell so you get reminded every time I bring a brand new video. Thanks for being here, guys. See you on the next one. Peace.